Welcome to a new Machine Gang video. In this video we're going to look at shortcuts and how to speed up your workflow in Machine. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you that's really quick to do on the controller is how to change your tempo and do fine adjustments to your tempo. So right now the tempo is 139, and the easiest way to change it on the controller is just hit the tempo button. It'll light up, and then you see right here we can adjust it. Also, while you have the tempo toggled, you can hold shift, and you see there we're doing fine adjustments. So now it's 0.10 and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much it, how you would go about changing your tempo. And this is good. Sometimes you might be working with a sample and it's not going to be the exact BPM, so you might need to do a fine adjustment. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is changing the default view for each button or each mode. So if you see right here, we have a row of buttons. You have scene, pattern, events, variation, so on and so forth. When you click on one of these buttons, one of two things will happen depending on how you have it set up. So when I click my scene button, if you look right here, scene is lit up. If you were to press this button, you see it backed out of the scene mode, and I have to hold it to keep it on scene. So a quick way to speed things up is, if you want scene to be always enabled, you press this button, the far left button right here, and now you free up your hands to do other things. Same thing with all of these other modes. If you see here, my events mode, it's not configured to be locked. So basically, when I press this button, now I can flip through the different modes, and all of these are defaulted to stay locked basically. The next thing I want to show you, and I actually did in another video, is how to double a pattern. I'm going to play this beat and it needs a bass line. So I'm going to show you how I will go about quickly building a bass line for this beat. So first let's listen to it. Okay, so that's the loop, and obviously it needs some bass, right? So if you look on your left screen, it's going to say pattern length, and then you can actually change it. And what we want to do, since we're working with a full 8 bars from here to here, if we want to double it, we need to set this to 4. So now that my pattern is set to 4 and I have the sound that I want, now we're going to record a simple bass line, and I'll show you how to double it. Okay, now Machine will actually loop this, so this part will actually loop into this part. But what if I want to double it and then make some changes at the end? So what you want to do is hold shift and just press double, and now look, now it's doubled. So now let's listen. So basically what I did was I recorded 4 bars, but I quickly doubled it to 8. So you can probably use your imagination and see how this would be helpful in a lot of situations. Okay, so another tip is how to transpose a whole octave. Let's continue to use this bass line as an example. So what you want to do is click on events. Up here, the second button is going to say select. So you want to click select, and then on the right screen, the first button says all. So now all of your events are lit up. What you want to do is hit shift, and then if you look at your pads, you have functions. What you want to do is go either octave up, which would be 16, the 16th pad, or you can go down, and that's the 15th pad. it's just that easy to kind of play around with different octaves and to transpose that way. The last thing I want to talk about is how to render to audio. So a lot of times your CPU might get bogged down, or you might just prefer working with audio. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a sound in the beat, and I'll show you how I will go about rendering or bouncing something down to audio. So let's take a listen to, let's solo this instrument. Okay, so it's really simple. What I would suggest is click on pad mode, and you see this sound is on the first pad. You could do any pad you want, so let's just do the second pad, and then you just want to be on the default view, so click on plugin. You could press in the joystick. That's going to give you your menu to add whatever you want, and we're just going to go down one to audio. So now make sure your first sound is selected, so the sound we were just listening to, and then right here on the right you have MIDI, and then you have audio. What you want to do is click and hold the audio, and then it's going to tell you not to move your mouse or whatever, so just basically it's just rendering. So you want to let it render and just drop it on your audio track. Without creating this audio track first, it's not going to work. So you need to make sure that you load up an audio track. So let's drag and drop it. See, it's doing this thing right now, and then we're just gonna drop it here. It's an exact copy of this. So now if we mute the first pad and now we listen to just the straight audio. So you might ask, well, why would you want to do that? Well, in my opinion, sometimes it's easier to, for example, on this same pad, we could add a filter. If we put a low pass on it, so that's just an example that you might want to work with audio instead of the actual plugin. So that's going to do it for 5 quick tips in Maschine. So I'll probably do a part 2 with even more tips and just some things to speed up your workflow in Maschine. This is Grits and Gravy signing off. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. All right, later.